Welcome back to Real Money. After our last video with Aman Khan from h2o Loans,
Buy as well. That's exactly what I've told him.
we had a lot of questions put forward to us from different platforms on social media. So without any delay, Aman, question number one. How much deposit do I need to get a loan?
If it's an owner-occupier property and without any incentives from the government, you can look at somewhere around 8 to 8.5% of a deposit of the purchase price. If it's an investment property, it has to be somewhere about the 12%. I'm talking about without any incentives from the government or any first-home buyer help.
Question number two. Why should I use a broker and not to go to the bank directly?
Well, the answer is simple. Right now in Australia, more than 70% of the loans are written by the mortgage brokers themselves. The number one reason is ease of getting a loan. Options on the table. If you go to CBA, Westpac, NAB, ANZ, they can't tell you what's out there, what's better, or they can't match a product with 40 different lenders that we've got on our portfolio out of the 2,500 products as well. So that is number one reason I would say. Number two, ease of meeting up with people. A lot of people work from 9 to 5. They have to take time out. You have to go to the bank, make an appointment. Whereas a broker, we can make time. We can make time after hours or Saturday, Sunday, depending on what client's suiting and what's the best for the agents as well. So these are the two most important part of a broker. And plus on top of that, the holding hand and taking them through the process of buying from pre-approval all the way to settlement. It's literally a one-on-one engagement with one person and one person only for the rest of the 30 years of their loan or more.
Okay, for a simple person like me, again, a little bit of explanation there. So if you go to the bank directly, bank will show you just their product. But if you go to the broker, they'll show you all products from all the lenders. Question number three, how much do you charge for your services?
Well, personally at h2o, we do not charge any fee whatsoever. I have obviously heard and I know there is a lot of brokers out there who are charging their fees, application fees or a retaining fee. But we at h2o, we don't charge you anything. It's a zero fee from us. We get paid from the bank and we are happy to be paid from the bank as well.
Question number four, what documents do I need to have before applying for a home loan?
Look, usually we do have a list of required documents which is sent out to the client on the day of engaging with them. But if to sum it up real quick would be IDs of 100 points, 2 latest pay slips of each and every applicant in the application, transaction accounts where salary credits are happening, savings accounts, credit card accounts, all that kind of stuff. I can go in detail, but it'd be too many things for me to mention right now. So I would say the main points are pay slips, transaction account, savings account, and credit accounts, 1 month statement to 3 month statements, depending which account it is.
Next question, how will you decide which loan options are best suited for me?
The way we decide is to see exactly, number one question is, what is the buyer trying to achieve from the purchase? Because it's not one product for one person, it's literally setting them up for the future and what are they looking to do out of that. If they want to build a portfolio, it's a different product. If they're looking to get into the market as a first-home buyer and the least amount of expenses out of their pocket, yes, then there's another product. If it's a refinance, which is a cashback, good product, depending on their situation. That's how we go. What we do is we weigh up the options, we weigh up their demands, and then we match them together.
So again, from a simple person point of view, a product which might suit a first-time investor versus a fourth-time investor or first-time buyer might be a different product from a different lender.
Absolutely.
Now, next question, how long does it take for a mortgage approval process typically take from initial application to an approval?
There's two different parts of a process of approvals and approvals as well. So if it's a pre-approval, being a platinum broker with the top 4 banks, we've got the extra, you can say leeway, because when our application goes in, we can actually get an approval within a day, 2 or 3, depending on how busy the bank are. But regardless, it will be 50% time lesser than a normal mortgage broker elsewhere. As far as an unconditional approval, I can tell you from experience right now, I'll put an application for a refinance, approved the next day with Westpac, one of those banks that we are platinum brokers with.
Are you platinum?
Yes, I am. h2o Loans is platinum with Westpac, CBA, St. George, NAB, and Bankwest.
Okay, so if you go with Aman, you'll get your pre-approval quicker. Next question, how would having multiple pre-approvals affect my credit report?
Depends on how many approvals or how many pre-approvals, how many applications you've done. And it's not only the loan application. Sometimes a check on a credit card or a personal loan where you can go online and check in 2 minutes. Don't do that unless you're actually willing to actually go and get yourself a personal loan if you really need it. Just don't do it because you want to know, because that will affect your credit report. When I say how many, normally I've done sometimes 2 applications or maybe if needed, depending on the situation of a client and the situation of a scenario, 3, but nothing more. You don't want to do 5s and 6s and different pre-approvals with different people, different brokers or different lenders. That's why it's best to weigh up your option at once and then go in all in with one or maybe another bank, depending on how your broker is taking your case.
So keep watching, guys. I got the best question saved for the last, which is how would the current rate rise will impact from RBA? I have a broker on hand, so he will answer that question as well. Next question, any first-home buyer incentives going on at the moment?
Like I said in earlier as well, there are a lot of incentives that are going on. First-home buyers still remaining the same. In fact, they're increasing the $650,000 limit to $800,000. You don't pay any stamp duty as a first-home buyer. For a stamp duty, you also can get that waived up to $1.5 million purchase, and you can pay that as a land tax, 2%, 5% FHOG, which is a first-home owner grant. There is plenty out there that you can actually get help with. Depending again on your situation, what exactly you're trying to achieve is something that you can sit and talk to your person that you speak with regarding your loan, and they can direct you to the right direction. Also, you can call New South Wales Revenue. A lot of people don't know where to get information from, or they can't ask everyone about this. Just call Revenue New South Wales. They will give you each and everything about your scenario or what you require, what the prerequisites are for it.
Is there one single website other than Revenue New South Wales?
All right, so First Home Buyer's Choice website is one that you can go to if you don't want to obviously get on the phone and waste 10 minutes to wait on the line.
How long does a broking process to get a pre-approval takes for an application to closing?
As soon as you get a pre-approval, it's all up to the buyer to find a property and sign the contract. Typically, we get 5 to 10 days cooling off period when you sign the contract in New South Wales. Right now, again, it changes from time to time, how busy are the banks and which bank we're going with. But as of now, you can say comfortably anywhere between 3 to 4 days max. It includes your valuation, your assessment, final assessment, contract submission, all that kind of stuff to getting an approval. It can happen in a day, it can happen in 3 days, depending on how the banks are traveling with their queue in the pre-approval and the approval lanes.
So on an average, if I got the pre-approval and found a property, how long would it take on an average?
As of today, if you go with h2o Platinum, 2 days.
So what are the current interest rates and how they compare to the other lenders?
The interest rate, like I said, again, it's a very easy thing to ask, but it's a very broad question to be answering, to be very honest, because interest rate depends on your LVR. That's how right now the market is. That's how the climate is with the lenders. If what LVR is, a loan to value ratio, for people who actually, are not too savvy with the LVR and acronyms, depending on how...
For simple people like me?
For a very simple person like him. LVR is basically, the lower the LVR, the lower the interest rate, the bigger the discount we can get. I've just got a deal through from one of our clients on a refinance. It's a 50% LVR, great position to be in. For the person who's actually refinancing the house, I got him a 5.2, 5.3 sort of thing right now in this market, which is brilliant.
Next question, are there any prepayment penalties or fees associated with paying off the mortgage early?
Again, it could be two different scenarios. On a variable, you can pay as quickly as you want. You can pay as much as you want. Whereas on a fixed, there is a certain amount of money that you can put towards your loan extra in a year. Usually it's $10,000 depending on which lender is it. So if you are looking to put that, and if you are on a fixed right now, I'd say just keep it on fixed. So you're probably on a very good rate for now. Once the rate comes off, you can always then go to variable and actually use the redraw facility, offset accounts, or if you go on a fix again, before that, pay off your loan account as much as you've got the money to pay for it, bring it down and fix it again.
How do I avoid paying LMI, which is lender mortgage insurance?
So basically 20% deposit is how you can avoid an LMI, but there is also a 15% for a first-home buyer with St. George.
So the lucky last, cash rate going up by 3.85%. A lot of people have called me since yesterday, going up in May of 2023. How would that impact the borrowers and people making the repayments?
Well, it's a 25 base point increase. From our last video, we did mention every time it goes up, it's obviously hard on the pocket of the buyers who are looking to purchase a property in the market. It could be anywhere around, depending again on individual situation, it could be anywhere around the $25,000 to $30,000 in the purchase price and the borrowing capacity limit of a person. With another one happening in June, possibly, you can look at another 20 base points, further $30,000, $40,000. So all up by the end of the financial year, if it goes the way it's sounding like, it should be about $50,000 to $60,000 that a buyer will be losing on their purchase capacity.
So reduction on borrowing capacities, which means they got less money to pay for a property.
And it'll affect obviously with the house prices, and it will affect the vendor on how much they can actually get for a property compared to today or even actually yesterday to in the next 2 months.
So if I'm not a buyer or a seller with these high interest rates and I just have a house and I'm on variable, not on a fixed rate, and it's going up like that, is there any tips for me?
Absolutely. The number one thing is to speak to the bank. They can actually give you a good discount on your rate right now. You can negotiate a good rate with them. They are helping a lot of people out there. Other option is obviously speak to a mortgage broker, speak to another bank, or speak to whoever you speak with. there is a lot of refinance options. There is a lot of good rates going on, again, depending on the LVR and all the other circumstances. But yes, whatever you're paying right now, you will be paying less than that for sure if you look at a refinance option.
So negotiate your variable rate down. Also, maybe look at refinancing or talking to a mortgage broker for refinancing, and also maybe extra repayments. I mean, if you're struggling, it's a bit difficult to make extra repayments.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the moment, it's easy to say make extra repayments, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, if you're already struggling to keep up with the interest rate hikes, the only thing that what he can put in your pocket is a refinance. That's another $4,000 or $5,000. It's not going to take you too far, but at least some sweetener in your pocket, plus reducing the rate overall. And when you refinance your loan, the loan actually goes back to 30 years. So you do have a choice of increasing it to 30 years, and then repayment would be lower for now. But if you still want to make extra payment on variable, we can always do that.
Are the banks allowing interest-only rate?
Yes, the banks are allowing for interest-only rate. For an owner-occupied property, though, not too many banks are actually running with that. And also, there are another few prerequisites to that as well. It's not as easy as it sounds. But again, there is always an option. And if there is an option, we can definitely look at that.
It's part of negotiation to have an interest-only or reduce interest rate. Once again, thank you very much for tuning in. Guys, keep your questions coming. And if you have any more questions for Aman, he will be traveling in next few weeks, but he will be taking his questions and clients from overseas. So keep that coming. We'll put your questions forward to Aman. Thank you very much.
Thank you.